next up on the list we have the Inverter Shield. Now the Inverter Shield is, surprisingly, a type of shield used by the Secutari hoplites. It incorporates a powerful inversion field generator at its core and is sufficient both to enhance the shield's resilience and provide power to the accompanying weapon, the Arc Lance.
Okay. I think the Adeptus Mechanicus just really likes the term Inverter. Like all shields in 40k, they fail for random or completely unexplained reasons against weapons that they worked previously against extremely well. Furthermore, Inverter indicates some sort of inversion of the magnetic field with the generator, which, I'm going to be entirely honest, would do nothing. Let me explain. If you invert the magnets of the generator, so long as you invert them all, nothing happens. There's no enhancement to the amount of power it generates, there's no damage to the generator. The size of the magnets still mean they generate the same amount of power. To call this a Inverter Shield says it's either total bollocks, and the Mechanicus are just blowing flame up everyone's butts about their fancy Inverter, or they are actually inverting the magnets in a controlled manner similar to a railgun to accelerate the generator and force it to generate even more power. A highly unstable reaction. And furthermore, a reaction that could not be maintained under battlefield conditions or when the shield is reacting to fire. Basically, this means the shield output is designed entirely randomly and uncontrolled. It explains why the shield fails at seemingly innocuous moments. It also explains that this is not a technology you really want to go with, because the power generation output is, one, going to be entirely random, and two, if that power generator gets upset in the slightest bit, like the gyro stabilization in it gets damaged for some reason or another, or seems slightly out of sync, when it flips that mag inversion, you're going to have a bad day that might result in a very big explosion.
And the weapon, as mentioned before, that's not commonly paired with the Inverter Shield is the Arc Lance. Now, wielded by Secutari hoplites, the spear is akin to the arc maws used by the Skitarii counterparts, as well as the far larger version used by Cerastus Knight Lancers. The Arc Lance inflicts damage through short-range blasts of coruscating energy augmented by an inversion field mounted in the Inverter Shield, and thus the weapon is both capable of making melee and ranged attacks.
Okay, now we're getting into the weapons where I look at your Adeptus Mechanicus and go, what were they thinking? Bad, Cyberdog! Bad! You're using the same power source that you're using for your shield for your weapon, tying them together directly. That means your weapon could drain or damage your generator if it overloads or enemy action takes into account and backfires into the Inverter shield generator. The Arc Lance is designed as a melee hybrid for electrical fire for guys who are dressed head to toe in metal armor, right?
Yeah. You can see where this is going already, can't you?
I see chain lightning in your future, and not in a good way. These weapons are obviously powerful enough to penetrate the layer of protection the Skitarii warplate offers, because otherwise you wouldn't use a weapon that you couldn't kill your own men with. Yeah, this definitely looks like a lot of Adeptus Mechanicus die by electrocution every year. Other than that, it's practical after that point that you might electrocute everyone around you, or the generator on your back might overload and explode. I would assume the mag inversion happens at the moment of firing in order to generate an extra high charge for the purposes of killing your target. But now we get into the absolute batshit insane weapon.
Yes. Speaking of killing your own men, Radium weapons. Now these weapons are so volatile that they eventually kill their wielders. Not can kill them, they will kill them. Their purpose is not only to slay the enemy with a blast of radiation, but also render the battlefield a deadly rad waste. Each weapon's bullet cylinder is so thoroughly bathed in radium that a volley can cause a localized radiation storm, so those inside it soon find their flesh blackening and sloughing away. And this comes in handy pistol, carbine and sniper rifle varieties.
Okay. First off, I would like everyone to lower the volume of your speakers for just a moment. I'll give you a second. Are you completely out of your mind? Okay, you can bring the volume back up now. Radiation is measured in rads and Geigers. It's how we determine how dangerous radiation is to the life in the area in which you are talking about. You know, like Chernobyl or Fukushima. Too soon?
Or Godzilla.
Or Godzilla. Godzilla's a good instance of this as well. A localized rad storm would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 70,000 Geigers, rads, in the air per 100 meters per minute. This is based upon probes sent to Venus and measuring the local radiation storms there, made of radioactive elements of carbon and tin. Kills the wielder. Quote, the human body dies instantaneously when it is exposed to more than 5,000 rads over the course of 24 hours. You die instantaneously if exposed to 1,000 rads in an hour.
How many rads was this again?
This is claiming a localized rad storm that's generating 70,000 rads. 14 times what it takes to kill you instantly. You died when you picked this gun up in the armory. You didn't even make it to the battlefield. Which, by the way, you wondered why everyone on the ship was dead last week from radiation exposure. Furthermore, everyone is still wondering why everyone at the dockyard and on the manufactorium planet was dead from acute radiation poisoning. You could... Like, this would work. I'm gonna give it to you. You could put highly radioactive radium, whatever that substance is, I'm just gonna assume you're firing radioactive isotopes of uranium superheated to release their radiation, at someone and create a radioactive wasteland. As a matter of fact, to illustrate this, areas where we've been using depleted uranium rounds in Iraq in significant numbers, like places where there are tank battles or where an A-10 Warthog has come by and strafed the area, have a radiation level of about 22 rads. And that's depleted uranium. You're using live active uranium that you're further insinuating into being even more deadly by superheating it by shooting it out of a gun. This is pure simple madness. On the level of Korn and Nurgle deciding to have a three-way with Slaanesh over the Emperor of Mankind's body on the Golden Throne in front of the Adeptus Custodes, expecting everyone to be okay with that, while Tzeentch sits back and records it for prosperity.
That's some serious heresy.
You could not pick up this weapon unless you were covered in more than... because it's 12.1 inches of lead titanium alloy would be required to be between you and this weapon in order for you not to die from standing in the same room with it. You could not pick up this weapon if you did not have 12.1 inches. To illustrate how thick that is, battleships had 12-inch guns and 14 and 16-inch guns. This is the diameter of a battleship's shell, which are the size of people, that you have to have in body armor to even walk in and grab this weapon. I'm sorry, Adeptus Mechanicus, you have lost your mind.
I suppose potentially a dreadnought could pick it up, if they were big enough.
A dreadnought could pick it up if they made one for a dreadnought. However, the dreadnought just walking around is going to kill all the Space Marines. I'm sorry, Battle Brothers, I didn't realize you turning black and green was a bad thing.
He becomes the one-man exterminatus. He just walks around the planet and is like, I am wiping out all life.
I could just imagine it now. Knock knock, who is it? Adeptus Mechanicus delivery service. The orc walks over. We didn't order, no. Delivery complete. Next house.
So, looking at something a little bit more feasible, the Omnissiah Axe. Now, the Omnissiah Axe or Glaive is granted to adepts who have shown their faith in the machine god in battle. These fearsome weapons have no equal amongst power weapons and are only given to tech priests by their superiors. Sword-toothed and marked with sacred equations, they are forged with the finest materials and use secrets of tempering and field generation.
Okay. Glaives are incredibly efficient melee weapons. Putting power field around them seems like a really good idea in an era where melee becomes viable again because soldiers are wearing too much goddamn armor. I don't have a lot of commentary to discuss on this one. Glaives are like having a long spear mixed with the slashing power of a greatsword. They've been used for centuries, will likely continue to be used in future wars if melee weapons ever become viable again. It's that simple. They took one of the most efficient weapons designs possible, put a power field around it, and said, go. Good job! I give you credit there! The radium weapon's still nuts.
And finally, today we're going to be taking a look at the digital weapons. Now, digital weapons, or digi-weapons as they're often called, are mini-weapons, often concealed in rings or other jewellery. Though miniaturized, they are capable of replicating the punch of full-size weapons such as las pistols, hell pistols, needle pistols, hand flamers, and infernal pistols, although they can only be fired once and reloading them is extremely difficult.
Okay, this is actually really simple to explain. If you take a full single-shot charge into a barrel, sawed off the barrel, most of the barrel, took apart all the stuff needed for recharge, reloading, and most of the other moving parts, and we're using what appears to be an energy weapon, so you replace the trigger with a button, you could build this.
I am kind of curious where they would fit the fuel tank from a flamethrower the size of a ring.
They wouldn't have to. They would condense the flamethrower to the size of, say, an estrogen pill. Or to illustrate how big an estrogen pill is, guys, it's about a quarter of a centimeter across. Sorry, I took one of mine and measured it. You could reduce it to the size of that, and it would easily fit inside of a large gemmed ring.
Wouldn't need a pilot flame to ignite it, though?
No. If you used a highly combustible substance like napalm that ignites when just put under pressure or under normal atmospheric conditions, would actually burst into flame, wouldn't need it.
Fair enough.
I mean, we've already done this today with like a 9mm Derringer, which has a single shot. It's literally a 9mm barrel with a firing mechanism on it and a button. Another example is the mini bomblet grenade, which is a grenade the size of a necklace gem. It's not super powerful, but it's effective enough that it will kill everyone within about 5 feet. To be super futuristic and able to build, say, something that has the punch of a full-size weapon, totally believable. And actually, to be honest, really freaking practical and scary. To know that homeboy over there sipping his wine, if he moves his finger in the wrong direction, is going to suddenly shoot me with an inferno pistol burst.
In fairness, though, they're normally only restricted to extremely wealthy or influential individuals, such as Inquisitors. So your average common hive gang is not likely to have one.
Another reason to be scared of the Inquisition. Got it.
No one expects the Inquisition.
But yeah, you could. This is not only practical. It's we've already built them for the most part. These are kind of like some of the gadgets that James Bond has under his sleeve, like a full-size tranquilizer dart that hides in his suit without anybody noticing he's wearing it, or something like I'm gonna use a comedy series here. Something like Archer's penis gun.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's literally a gun that has like 8 bullets that he can hide in his underwear, and you won't even notice it's there. That or he has a really small penis.
And on that note, that brings us to the end of this edition of Men at Arms. So thank you everyone for paying attention and watching us. We apologise for being so late. But join us next time. We'll be looking at some bugs. Anyway,
we're looking at some bugs. Probably next week.
Ooh. Excited, everyone?
Also, Do we want to tell them about the special one?
No, we'll wait until next week.
Okay.
Okay, this has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
This has been Fiaura. How are you guys doing? So I'm pretty sure I marked him in my channel in the description. Go check him out, please.
Yes, you can check out part 1 in the description of this video. So go and check out part 1 on Fiaura's channel. And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.